Okay, I think we should be good now. Yeah, um y'all get static PNG, Sean, hovering in the back on account of the place is a little bit janky looking. Um, the place is a little janky looking, and also I just wasn't in the mood um, to completely show up um, on camera. So yeah, I appreciate y'all deeply, but today you get PNG, Sean. Don't you have a? I do. This is true. I do. Yeah. It's still under the bed. I can still use it. Um, it's just mostly that I can't be bothered. Not because it doesn't work or anything, but just because I just haven't been in the mood to go dig it up. But I still literally have it, and I could go pull it out of my. If I really wanted to, I could go pull it out of my. The word is going to come to me eventually. I could go pull it out from under my bed if I felt like it. I just haven't felt like it, so I didn't. So I haven't used it in a while, but it's around. Yeah, I think I tried that at one point, and then I don't think very many people bit bit at it. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Would I like to advertise? Yeah, I'm down for that. I was like, for half a second, I did wonder for a little, like, oh, I guess getting the role doesn't automatically do it. But I'm like, I was also like, yeah, I'm not sweating it if that's the case, and it's just one of those things where it's like, you just gotta hold that. It's like, all right, that's fine. Um, Based, thank you. So yeah, shootlanzer playtest and how that went. Well, so hi everybody, especially if you're lurking. I hope the day has been restful and or productive for y'all. I would say for me, kind of. I was just kind of tooling around in Blender before stream started, and it wasn't doing the things that I wanted, which is why part of why I'm late. The other part being that I was like halfway to going to go clean up the way that I meant to, and then you know might have had a whole forgotty to do that, which is again part of the reason why I was just like, nah, forget it. Like, I'm just going to turn off the camera because the place is kind of a mess. Um, the place is kind of a mess. I am also kind of just not in the mood to like get properly dressed for stream and all that. So like, forget it. I just kind of feel like curling up in the blanket, but um, not in a way that I'm like dressed up enough to be like seen properly in it. So forget it. This is how we're doing it today. Um, Shootlands playtest went really well. Aside from the one that was on Tuesday of last week, no, not Tuesday of last week, Thursday of last week. Wow, I can't think. Aside from Thursday from last week, Tuesday of this week went relatively well. At this point, we pretty much have all of the basic mechanics like lockdown. But the major things, I forgot to post the notes somewhere. that KT could see them. And I feel the type of way about that because I realize now that I forgot, and probably she forgot because she's busy. So here we are, both looking a mess, I guess. Lol. Which means I should probably veer a little away from messing with the stuff related to that. I should probably not mess with any of the things I took notes on until I handle a couple of things. Whoops, lol, lamau. But I'll figure that out at some other point. So yeah, we are still raising money for 2 Right Love on her arms. The last stream that we will have, wow, my brain is having a hard fart right now because of course it is. The thing that I was trying to say is that the last stream that we'll have, with the fundraiser going will be this upcoming Friday. So if we make it to $200, I play Battle Network 1 after we're done playing Tales of Vesperia DE probably. If we don't, that's fine. 2 Right Love on her arms, the whole thing that it is meant for is support for people who are going through various forms of mental health struggle. And because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, they reached out to me to do the fundraising, which is why we've been doing that for the whole month, you know. Okay, so I'm going to look over my list of actual tasks elsewhere, and I'm not going to do any of the new stuff that we took in yesterday because I haven't talked to KT. KT has seen those notes, but because I did not give them to her, they haven't been added into my other task list stuff, which means that I should really only be working on the things that were already on my existing task list until I discuss where these new ones go in. This is the way that you cause your project manager to not want to shake you like a Polaroid picture. You don't, unless you happen to discuss it with them beforehand, and even when you do, you should make sure that that is also living in like actual documentation, which means that it is important, for example, to it's important that you don't like spring that shit randomly onto your project manager, because they're the ones that have to like come up with schedules, and if you're randomly fucking around with stuff. Well, okay, there's like one change that I am going to make that's not on my task list officially, and that is reverting Leona's hitbox. There was a feeling for a little bit that it might be too big, and as it turns out, this was not quite right. So we're just gonna do this thing where I slightly adjust her hitbox roughly back to where it was initially. unless I forgot. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to make sure that the hitbox is adjusted back to the size that it's supposed to be. Because there's a very good chance that I just didn't push the commit and then made the build anyway. So I'm going to just adjust the hitbox down like this. And I think we should be okay. Like to here, I think should be good. Not exactly where it was before, but it should be fine. Okay. So let me go look at my actual list of tasks and the things that I've been reminded about by our handy dandy robot in the other spot. Sorry. I also got back late from the playtest, which is probably also part of why I'm like being on camera. Ha ha. Okay, so let me go to the tasks that I currently have. Okay, see its tutorial adjust. Yeah, finish that one. That one's also finished. That one's also done. Okay, so high score table pop. Let's work on pop-up adjustments first, I think. That's most important. Thank you so much for the follow. We do keep our follow alerts anonymous so that people can like follow and lurk and chill without having to say anything. Deeply appreciate it. Welcome to the Gage Gang. I hope you enjoy your stay. Let me see here. Okay, so right, that's one of the things I want to check out. So if this is related to pop-ups, then I need to do a thing real quick. Yeah, we need to go into the player script first. Something I realized that's important that wasn't happening initially because I needed to do that is that there's a thing that I need to change. We're going to go to the player script real quick, and we are going to keep this very simple, really. That is no longer static. And the reason why is because I realized that it is important for, especially because I sat down and realized, right, players are in a situation where you may have somebody come on during like somebody may get up and walk away from the actual someone may get up and walk away from the cabinet, and then that means they may not know what pickups do, which means that realistically speaking, honestly, whenever you do a purge, right, it should at least it's supposed to reset at least at the start of every run, but I think for right now I'll have them do, like, the first time you do a purge in a stage, it reminds you of what it does, and the first time you pick up a pickup in a stage, it will remind you what it does. Or no, maybe I don't want to actually fuck with that, because I was thinking about that initially, and I think that that's still not right, but it should do it at the start of it. Because I was thinking about it, and it's like every stage, if you pick it up and then that pickup shows up, then that's the point at which you're like, all right, I know what they do. You can stop doing that now. Maybe not. I'm gonna actually do the thing I'm planning, and we'll see. If it becomes too annoying, then I'll remove it. But so basically, the first time you get one in a level, it will do it, and then after that, it won't. Yeah, how doing things like that really depends on how much experience they create. For example, Twilight Princess stopping everything. Yeah, no, it doesn't pause. The pop up is just like there. Is like there and semi-transparent. Y'all will probably see it as I'm playtesting. It's just a matter of, like, I got to figure out how to get the placements to actually work correctly because they don't look right. It means that it's in the HUD somewhere. Okay, so pop up. I can't be asked to, like, redo the math right now. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so the pop-ups, see if they become annoying at that particular point. But that, we'll see how that goes. So that, wait, so where did I put the backpack? That's where the other pig has to put. Sorry. Damn it, me. Why didn't you just pick it up and put it over? grumbling because the backpack I took out to play test I left on the other side of my apartment, so I had to like actually get up out of my comfy little blanket nest and come actually pick it up to come look at it. Yeah, some of these I can adjust, some of these I can't. Okay. Faster. Just the stage 1 boxes. Yep. Yeah, I can do a couple of these things. Though I think the problem, well, with the stage 1 boss, I think the issue is that because I manually scaled it up, so with the stage 1 boss, the hitbox is going to be a little bit jacked up until I get the actual original sprite, so I can resize it around that. If I try to adjust the size now, shenanigans will happen. So I think what I will do, though, is okay, so of the things that are on my official task list, refining from feedback is kind of like whatever. Pop-up adjustments, I should test those first, and then I'm either going to be doing high score table stuff, or I'm going to attempt to pry bar, crowbar apart whatever is going on with the spin timer. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the pop-ups. Let's just go to stage 1 and just run it from there. I love you, DO8, Dead or Alive soundtrack, but we gotta hold up for a bit. It is playtesting time, so just be a little chill for a sec for me. Okay. I know y'all can't see it. Give me a second. The main feedback that we also got was that some people are okay. Good. So yeah, that's what the pop-ups look like basically. And then the double pickup problem. Okay. I missed it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I think I'm probably gonna put them back to static the way that I had it planned initially, so that they only show up once per. But now that I know that the positioning is right, let's see here. Leave that one alone. Discard that hunk of code. Change. Want layer script. We'll keep those right now. That hunk. Discard this hunk as well. Close the code and then reopen it again. Because the main thing is that I need the stage 0 one to always reset. Okay, I need to make sure that this stuff is working correctly is the thing. Okay, so that one does reset, supposedly. And then over here, yeah, so both of those are supposed to reset, right? Ouch. Okay. So it's supposed to reset at the start of every run, so that should be fine. It should work now, but I'll test it again. Let me make sure that I'm not imagining this. Oh, whoops. I forgot I left the sorry. I left Visual Studio up and that was blocking y'all's view. My bad. Okay, good. Is it because I didn't build? Or is it because even when I discarded those hunks? Okay, no, it did do that. So then why? I'm not gonna think about it too hard because that'll make my ass itch. Okay, but something I do want to fix is this thing. Okay. Something I want to try first here. So I need to basically reconstruct from the bottom up the way that spinning works before I tweak a couple other things. I noticed that there's a bug visually that happens with it that I need to try to sort out. Okay. So then that's not. So the problem is with how it's filling. Okay. We can sort that out, I think. A couple other things I'm probably going to want to do. So let's go over to the HUD. Go over here to where the player spin is. That's not helping. Why did I do it like that? So, for context, what I what I mean is that whoa, sorry. Um, these maximum values I did a silly thing. So there are different ways to handle this. You don't have to do it always this way, but personally speaking, I prefer to do it this way. Um, Generally speaking, my personal practice when it comes to doing health bars and stuff in Godot or other kinds of meters or things like that is that I prefer, from a more general standpoint, if you come and look at the actual hey Lynn, what's up? Right. So if you look over here at the range values of this node, which is called texture progress bar, notice the minimum value and the maximum value. It's between 0 and 1, right? And the step is by 0.01, right? And the point of this, of doing it this way, is very simple, right? Let's say that your player character at one point in the game has a maximum of 3 health. So you're like, okay, the max value is 3, right? That's cool. That's great. That's fine. Let's say you pick up like a heart container or something and your maximum health goes up to 4. Great. Now you have to numerically increase the maximum health in the code, but then you have to make sure that you pass that along to the health bar. So that the health bar, for example, now knows the maximum value is 4. And if you forget to do that, then it's not going to display them, right? That becomes a whole pain in the ass. Personally, in terms of what is easier practice once you set it up correctly, ideally for like health bars and stuff like this, I talked about this previously on stream. I talked about like normalized health values or normalized values when you're passing along to a meter. When I say normalized, I mean that you render your current health and your maximum health as a percentage and then pass that percentage on to whatever health bar you're using, right? So here, right, rather than setting the maximum value of these progress bars to whatever the timers are, let's not do that actually. We're going to take these two out. It's the first thing we're going to do. I think I have to reassess this block of code because this is what's causing the particular this is what's causing the particular code snafu. Hi Vinka, how you doing? So I think I gotta like just relook at this real quick. Or now that I've done that other thing, now that I've done this other thing and I'm doing this, before I go mess with something else, I'm going to go back to stage 1 real quick because I realized that another reason why that might have been an issue is because I might have had the maximum value flashing with the percentage. So I'm going to stop and take a minute and just take a look and see if that fixed it or if it's going to still... Okay. Oh, right. I forgot I turned off the... Silly. I forgot I turned off the timer. So it's not going to work correctly until I put this back in. Alright, try this again. I just want to see that. Working on my own death today. Stop checking work. Appreciate it. So I'm going to stop and take a minute and uncomment the code that I commented out. And we're going to see if the adjustment I just made previously actually fixes the thing I'm looking for it to fix, or if it didn't. Nope, still doesn't. Okay. Which means that the issue is mostly here with, like, the way that this thing is filled. Or the way this thing is filling, I think. So, I'm going to come over to the HUD code. I got to figure this out real quick. This is the thing I need to figure out real quick. I think probably what I should do right now is I'm going to have the cooldown timer do a thing instead. Here's the line of thought that I've got. I just need to double check something real quick. So for the HUD, I think that the range stuff is a double. So we're going to do here. So those are all signals. Should really organize these a little bit better. So let's see. Let's do this. So the exported variables are here. Signals are there. And now let's grab these and do that. Okay. So here's the thing that I think I need to do. Or the thing I'm going to choose to try out here. I'm going to do public double. Do this. And it's going to be upset for a second because we don't have anything named that, right? So we're going to hide that. We're going to hide this one. Hide this one. And we're going to do void. Is calculate current cooldown. All right, so let's keep this simple. Well, no, not void. I need this to be a double result, turn result, double result equals 0, and then return result. So here's what we're doing. My main line of thought was mostly when I sat down and thought about it, I said to myself, I think that it is more appropriate to let the cooldown timer calculate what the fill should currently be and then pass that along and then let the HUD pick that up rather than making the HUD do the calculations. The HUD is just receiving the information and displaying. So first things first. First and foremost, if we're not going to skip the next cooldown, then that's when we show this thing. That's when we do the result, the rest of this math. So if we're not skipping any cooldowns, this is what we're going to do. So first things first is if player, spin duration timer node dot is stopped is false. So in other words, thank you for the lurk, I'll appreciate it. So if the spin duration is currently going and we haven't skipped the next cooldown, then what we want to do is result equals spin duration timer node dot get normalized timer value, and we want to say false in this case because it's counting downward. Then we're going to do return. So, if the spin duration timer node has not stopped, then we're going to do it like this. Then we're going to do else. So we're just going to do this. And we're just going to do it like this right now. There's the thing I want to test first to make sure this works correctly. You have to have a return result down there just as like a fail state. It's like a Did I put this? Okay. Oh, I forgot the L. I put calculate instead of calculate. All right. There we go. And then what we want to do over here in the HUD is say, so rather than all of this code, we're just going to do spin meter bar dot value is equal to player spin cooldown timer dot instance dot current cooldown meter value. Very simple. So essentially speaking, what's happening is that we're letting the player's countdown timer calculate what number is passed forward to the HUD. Rather than making the HUD do the calculation, the cooldown timer is responsible for that. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because it I think it helps with a other certain form of conveyance that we're still kind of trying to like figure out. Yeah. So you see, right? It does a nice little drain down while you're spinning, and then we're good. So it looks empty initially, right? And that is an issue, but we're going to sort that out in a minute. I just wanted to make sure that that part was working. So now we're going to do, or better yet, I could do this, right? And now over here, I can do else if is stopped. And now I can do result just equals result equals get So here's the trick, right? And then I should do true over here. Because watch this now. If I've done this correctly, this is the way that this should happen now. And this is the way that I probably should have done it the first time, but I hadn't thought about that at the point at which I coded it, which, you know, happens. Okay. Cool. So now the question is, why does it immediate? Okay. All right. That's going to be a problem. Because the drain down looks good. That's fine. Now it looks like we need like something like a refill delay, and then we go from there, which is fine. We can do that. Okay. Okay, I see. I see. I see. Because if there's anything that's still let's see here. Yeah, it feels like okay. It feels like the main issue we're running into is that like it immediately jumps back up. Let's just do this real quick. I'm curious about one. Because if it happens even with the number I just put in, then that means that there's a different issue going on. So what should happen is that the spin meter should be black right now. I'll spin and it'll drain down. Okay, then yeah, something else is going on. I think I know what it is. I have to put in an interval in between when the spin meter has drained and when it kicks off. I think that's probably it. If I had to guess, that's what it is. Yeah, my gut instinct is telling me that that's what's going on. Okay, so then here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, let's see how that goes. And then I can just keep kind of pushing that. So the idea that I'm trying to go for here is that once the spin stops, there's a short delay before your spin meter starts filling back up. And it's mostly to make sure that like it doesn't do the thing where Yeah, see, that's the issue that we're having, where it'll jump up again immediately afterward, and it's like I need that to not be the thing that is happening. I said, hmm. Let's go with that. Because that is probably. That also might not be helping, I realize it. Let me see something here. Okay. Because it could also just be an issue with implementation. Okay. Sorry, the sometimes like Kendrick gets stuck in my head, and I just hear mustard. really loud for a really long time. So if you got to see the script a second ago, you probably saw that. Sorry, couldn't help it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the fill is doing the thing that it's supposed to, it looks like. But the main thing I cannot seem to figure out is why it seems to be coming back nearly full anyway. Yeah. For some reason that I cannot figure out. For some reason that I cannot figure out. Okay, so we know that those steps are going fine. I need to figure out when this is printing. Because it looks like it's starting at some point. Okay, yeah, why is it already starting at that? Why is it already starting there? 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 Because y'all notice it started at 0.75 already. Right? And that's no good. Okay. Which means that now we need to look at the numbers going on here. Okay, so the normalized, which means the normalized value isn't the correct one for whatever reason. I don't think something's up with the timer and that normalized value isn't coming back correctly. So let me look at the extensions and see something real quick. Okay. Timer, time left. Over timer, wait time. Okay. Oh, that's why order of opera. Hey, so show of hands. Y'all already know what time it is, right? If you can guess where this is going, you get a cookie. Show of hands. Who in their lifetime thought that algebra and order of operations was absolutely useless? Cat Wizard's correct. Guess what? It's time for math every single time. Every single time. It is always back to math. Y'all are correct. So, if you look at this right here, if you look at this line of code, line 110, this one right here, because I did not pay attention, there is a critical thing happening here that is causing the math to get all kinds of fucked up. If you can guess what it is before I point it out, you get a cookie. But keep in mind that the idea here is that by default, timer.timeLeft always counts downward, right? So if we're doing a countdown value, right? Then time left is always going to start big and go small. Whereas wait time will always be a static number, right? So in this case, right, if the time left is like 2.75 and the wait time is divided by 3, that comes out to some percentage of whatever, right? It's a percentage between 0 and 1, and then that works fine. So this one is fine. Counting upwards works the way that it's like if count upwards is false. In other words, if we're doing a countdown, if we're doing like a countdown value, this works fine. Here, on the other hand, I have forgotten one of the most important things that is discussed in algebra. That they go out of their way to give you a funny mnemonic to memorize. For not necessarily precisely for situations like this, but also precisely for situations like this. Does anybody want to guess what it is? Stubby's answer is in. I'm going to wait and see if there's anybody else. Give it like a minute more and then we'll do the thing. But yeah, it's order of operations. It's order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. It's order of operations. Because I am a genius of a man who forgot the very, very important work of... I forgot the very, very important work of you need to put the fucking parenthesis over here, doofus. So, because of the fact that I had this parenthesis in the wrong spot, what this winds up doing is it basically multiplication, division, addition, subtraction of those four, whichever comes first in left to right order. So it'll do the subtraction stuff first and then the division, but not quite the way that I need it to. What I need it to do is to evaluate this part first, right? Because the time left is always counting down, right? So if our wait time is 3 and our time left is 2, then that means that we get a result of 1. 1 divided by the wait time is 1/3, or, 1 divided by the wait time, if the wait time is 3, is 33%. In other words, I have to make sure that I isolate the difference between between how long the timer runs for and how much time is left on it. I isolate that first and subtract that, and then we do wait time afterward. You know what I should do to make this make sense? I'm sitting here doing all this jabbering out loud when I should just do this. So, every time I start jabbering, I'm like, I just need to just MS Paint, and we just need to do MS Paint because that would make it easier. Every single time, like I could just talk and explain this whole thing like that, or I could just literally get MS Paint and make that work. Every time, you would think that I would remember this by now, and now I can't find the pen for the drawing tablet. So now I need to take a second and figure out either where that slipped off to or where I put it. So give me a second. But yes, please excuse my dear edits out. Fun fact, when I learned the order of operations in middle school, our teacher, I forget which math teacher, but when I learned it in middle school, my math teacher at the time basically said, hey, for this math unit, I want you to do a song about into whatever mathematical power. So, the thing that I did after going through all of my mom's CDs at home and lacking for anything better, I found, for whatever reason, my mother had or has still a copy of Carlos Santana's Jingo, or at least Jingo as sung by Carlos Santana is maybe the better way to put it. And so, literally, I wound up rolling up into class that day, and I just went parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, this, and I literally just sang that to the main refrain of Jingo over and over and over again. It was the most ridiculous bullshit that I could have thought of to remember the order of operations, and it fucking worked. Now I can't even look at that word without hearing Jingo in my head. Okay, yes. I'm a fucking mess, y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna explain this properly now with math, mostly. So, the way that timers in Godot work. So, good. I put got. Yes, in a pair of New Balances. Yes, this is correct. Motherfucker. Okay, GODOT TIMERS. Okay, Godot timers. Always count down. Wait time is the start value. Time left self-explanatory, right? So Godot timers will always count down. Wait time is the start value. Time left is the time that's left on the timer. So if you want to get a positive number, right? So to get normalized values, you order these two in specific, sorry, my handwriting's messier than usual, specific ways, right? So, count down, normalize is just the wait time over the, okay, I should try to write this a little more neatly. Wait time. The reason why my handwriting is sloppy, I figured out over the years, is mostly because I think faster than my hand moves, which is why my handwriting is so terrible, because like I have to either force my cognition to match my handwriting speed or vice versa. That's literally it, right? Like if I don't slow down my thinking, I wind up trying to write as fast as I think, and I can't do that. And that's why my handwriting is really ugly sometimes, and I just have to like slow down. Time left. And even when I do, it's still a little bit messy, but it's less messy. So, right? So, example. Right, is 0.75. Or, if the wait time... No, that's wrong. It's... I did this... I literally already did this upside down because I'm a doofus. Sorry, this is incorrect. It needs to be like this. It is the time that's left over the wait time, because I don't pay attention to what I'm writing. So yeah, y'all see what I mean now, right? When I say that, like, I have to be careful sometimes about trying not to write fast. Like, I'll write slower than I think. This should be time left over wait time. So example, right? If there's 0.75 seconds left and your wait time is 1, you wind up getting... Hang on a second. Let me look at the actual thing. Yeah, time left over wait time. You get 0.75, right? But it's counting downward. So you may have been at 75% of the meter full, then it would be 74, then 73, then 72, because you're counting downward from here, right? So if you want the countdown normalized, you just put the time left over the wait time and you're good, right? Time left will keep decreasing. So you get a count, right? So time left will keep decreasing, so you'll get a countdown. However, if you want a count up, where the number is going upward instead of downward, right? You have to do this a little bit differently. Wait time minus time left will give you an increasing value. So you'll do wait time minus... No. I literally almost did this backward. No, that's correct. See, sometimes math will fuck me up. So wait time is a static number. That's the important part. So counts down. This one stays the... No, motherfucker. I almost did it backwards again. This one stays the same, while this one counts down. So, in this case, right, the number that is static, that is not changing, needs to stay on the bottom of our division here. So, wait time minus time left will give us a counting up number. Because think about it, right? If you have 3 seconds of wait time and the timer has just started, the time left will also be 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 over whatever number is 0. Cool. Your wait time is 3. Your time left has gone down by like half a second. So it's like 2.5 or something, right? 3 minus 2.5 is 0.5. 0.5 over 3 will give you some number that is... I'm having like a brain fart right now. like divide 0.5 by 3, and whatever that number is, it's going to be smaller, but more importantly, it's going to be counting upward. I guess I could just use numbers between 0 and 1 to make this make sense. So let's say that your wait time is 1, right? Half a second goes by, so your time left is now 0.5. 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5. 0.5 divided by 1 is 0.5, right? You advance another tenth of a second or whatever. 1 minus 0.6 is 0.4. And so on and so forth. Wow, I'm doing this horribly wrong. If you go forward by a second, the wait time goes from 0.5 to 0, like a tenth of a second, sorry. It goes from 0.5 to 0.4, so then 1 minus 0.4 becomes 0.6, right? The important thing to note here is that wait time minus time left will always be counting up. Wait time will stay the same, and time left will be getting smaller relative to wait time. And then you just divide that again by wait time, and you get a number that is gradually counting upward. But it will always be, and the important part is the normalized part. Normalized, again, means that the value is between 0 and 1. And this makes our life easy because now, even if wait time happens to be increased, because we're taking the normalized value where we're doing a division including the wait time, it forces it to render as a percentage of whatever number we're currently going. And because it's rendered as a percentage, it will always be between 0 and 1, which means that we don't have to worry about, like, oh god, what if the wait time increases? Now I have to go do other math stuff. No, you don't, because it's normalized out. If it's normalized out, it will always be between 0 and 1, which means that you will always get a predictable percentage. The issue, and the reason why it wasn't working, so I literally just did this formula right here, where we see count up normalized. That formula is this. That formula is this. We subtract time left from wait time to get a number that is always counting upward, because time left will always be getting smaller than the wait. By dividing the result of that subtraction operation by wait time, we get a value between 0 and 1. Here, just dividing time left by wait time will give us a number, will give us a value between 0 and 1 that is constantly going down because time left is always getting smaller, which results in the quotient also becoming smaller, right? So that's the idea. The normalized value, if we're not counting upwards, if we're only counting downward, if we just divide the time left by the wait time, will give us a value between 0 and 1 that is constantly going down because time left is always getting smaller, and it's the dividend, the number on top. And so because it's always getting smaller, the quotient or the result is also smaller. And then we basically do the same principle here, right? Except that we make sure that this number up here is always getting bigger, which causes the quotient to be bigger, which makes the number larger. That's really it. So I know that sometimes I say that programming isn't just about math, and that's true. This is one of those situations where that's not as true, but the logic behind it is kind of like the most important part. It's like you just need to make sure that you are measuring the number going big, and that is pretty much it. So now that I've done this, this should be correct. This should be correct. And now what should happen is there should be a 2-second delay, and then it kicks back in. Right? Which I don't necessarily want, so I'm going to remove the delay in a second. But 1, 2. Yep, there we go. And if you look at the numbers here, right, the numbers here are going to prove exactly what I was talking about. So look at the output, right? So look here. We start at 0, and then we start counting up. You see? And then we stop right there. And that's effectively 100. Once we hit 1, it's good to go. So, you see? All of that is literally this part in action. Right? So wait time minus time left gives us a number that is counting up. We do the division by wait time in order to force it to be a number between 0 and 1, which is essentially a percentage, right? The most important thing, if you take away nothing else from me rambling on about this, the most important thing that you should remember, if you weren't already taught it in school, if you forgot it, is that percentages essentially exist, even though we say 1%, 2%, 5%, 6%, etc. Any percentage can be expressed with a decimal. And all you really have to do is like move the decimal point 2 points to the left, and you get whatever that percentage is in terms of either whole numbers and decimals. So 150% is 1.5. 75% is 0.75, so on and so forth. So once you calculate along that line, and you see like normalized values, bam, done. I'm gonna save this later and put it up in the Gilded. Sorry, I'll save this later and put it up in the Gilded because y'all know that I like to pass this along to you. So yeah, this is why normalized values are. So I said this before, but I want to reiterate why it's important that we normalize these, right? Like I said before, with a normalized value, you know for a fact that it's always going to be between 0 and 1, which means that in situations where, for example, your character's max health might increase, right? If you were to do this without normalizing it, you would have to account for, oh, right, at some point the character's health does a maximum increase, which means I need to make sure the number being passed to this is whatever, right? In order for the math to work out. And that is important and true. That's why we are relying on the fact that we are using variables for wait time and for time left. Because whatever wait time gets set to, whatever that number is, when we set that variable correctly, whatever wait time is set to gets accounted for down here, so it forces it out to a normalized value. And so to that end, that's why if you look at all of the bar elements in shootlanzer's HUD, right? If you look at the player health, for example, it's between 0 and 1. I don't go, right, I have to make sure I set the max value to whatever the player's max health is. No, forget that. I don't want to have to do that. The less I have to like try to remember to account for that stuff, the better. Fuck that. Don't want to have to do that. That's annoying. So instead, I just say, okay, listen, health bar, spin bar, whatever other bar you are, if you are a bar that is showing a value that goes from full to empty or vice versa, you just need to know how much percent full you are. And for that purpose, minimum value 0, max value 1, your step value is 0.01 so that you fill nice and evenly for the most part. You can set it to something choppier if you want to make it fill in discrete chunks. But in this particular case, it's not what we want to do. Not what we're here for, right? Not the thing that I want to do. So it's kind of like whatever. Apropos of nothing, you can actually get Zelda hearts in Godot relatively easily. If you make it fill clockwise and you make sure that if you make it fill clockwise, so I'll just demonstrate for like half a second, right? If you make this thing fill clockwise and it's a radial fill, right? Initial angle is 0, fill degrees is that, right? So like half a heart would be 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1, right? All you would need to do is make sure that that whatever graphic you're using, right? Make that into a heart. Tell Godot that at the texture progress bar, you're doing a clockwise fill, right? Make sure that you set your textures correctly, and then all you have to do is like make the step value like 0.25, and you can get full heart, half heart, quarter heart very easily if you need to do that, right? Or if you wanted to do like the old Super Mario 64 health meter where it's a full circle, right? And every time Mario gets hit, he'll lose like a chunk of that circle or whatever, right? All you have to do is make sure that you make the texture a circle in Godot, do the clockwise fill, make the step value like 0.125 so it fills in eighths or whatever, right? And you're good. That's it. Godot, I've said this before, but I really want to emphasize it. Godot is really, really, really good. Right? I really, really like Godot because it makes a lot of things that are a pain in the neck very trivial. Because they are very explicit about, like, yeah, most functionality for things that you would want in a game, there is probably a node for that. So now that I've sorted out this problem, and now that I realize that like, you know, that was the issue, I can come over here to this cooldown timer and let's adjust this now. I'm gonna throw this down over here and revert this back to where it was. We no longer need the cooldown interval timer because that's not the issue that we were having. Apropos of nothing, I want y'all to note that this whole saga of me trying to like figure this out demonstrates another very important thing about programming, is that sometimes an issue that you're having can be a symptom of a different issue, right? It's not always that the thing that you think is causing it is what's causing it. Because initially I was like, oh, it must be that for whatever reason, the timer is restarting before it should be. And that's not what was happening. Is that I literally didn't do the calculations correctly. So now there's only one thing I have to do. Last thing I need to do now. We're going to go back over to the cooldown timer. Now over here, we're going to do this. We're going to make sure that we assume initially Thank you so much for the follow. Deeply appreciate it. Welcome on into the Gauge Gang. We keep our follow alerts anonymous so that if you just want to lurk when you join, you can do that without any pressure. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. Welcome on into Muffin 8. Hopefully you're well. So yeah, what we're going to do here is we're going to properly assume that the current cooldown value is 1, aka that like let me rename this so it's more. I should rename this a little more accurate. This is the calculate cooldown bar percentage. Percentage is really what this is. I'm going to name it that because that's more accurate than what it does. Calculate what the cooldown bar's value should be actually set to at this time. I am working on a shmup called shootlanzer. I am the lead programmer and design lead for this game. It is going to be an arcade exclusive release that we are aiming for ideally sometime in 2026. I'm programming it with C# and Godot. Right now, I am troubleshooting something that I didn't realize was an issue until a playtest that I was looking at last night, wherein a bar was filling up way too fast, and it turns out it's just because I messed up the math somewhere, and I just now fixed it. So I'm sitting down and commenting out the code so I can make sure that I remember what it does and how it works. Returns the percentage of fill that the cooldown bar should currently have. We assume that it should start off full. If we aren't skipping cooldowns, e.g., we are not currently under an active purge effect or something similar, then we use the countdown normalized value of the spin duration timer node to determine how full the percentage bar is, so long as the spin duration timer node is currently my dad is getting me a computer for my birthday. Should I use Godot or C++? Should I use Unreal? Okay. This is a tough one. I don't use a lot of Unreal. I have tried to learn Unreal before, and I have bounced off of it very hard. I know that Unreal has like a blueprint coding system and things like that to make it marginally easier. But what I'm going to say is, depending on this, realistically speaking, for me personally, the primary reason I'm going to say Godot is mostly because with a laptop, right? Unless your dad is shelling out for like a really, really, really top tier one, I would say that the thing about getting Unreal is that Unreal will push a lot of even when you're doing it for like development purposes, depending on how deep into the weeds you get, Unreal will put a tax on whatever machine you're using, right? It can be pretty heavy like that. It's not to say that like Unreal, yeah, it's a crappy one from his job. Where get Godot, because if you try Unreal on a computer that on a laptop, especially that it's not like ready to like pump out work, you're gonna have a bad time. Godot, you want Godot. Especially if you're making like 2D games. Godot was targeting 2D first, so a lot of it's not that it has bad 3D support. I've been experimenting with it in another game that I occasionally stream progress on Wednesdays, but Godot's 2D support is extremely robust because it's mostly where it started, and I'm info dumping about level design in Godot and how easy and cool it is. Yeah, like Godot is very, especially once you have its foibles kind of like under your belt. Godot is really my preference between the two of them, especially for like lower end computers. Godot. That's me. I'm not saying to say that this means that I think Unreal is bad, but that for certain degrees of like my computer is not powerful enough to like handle this thing, you want Godot. Godot is very lightweight. I've been doing crappy clicker games in HTML and JavaScript on my school laptop. Yeah, like Godot is lightweight enough that like I would say on most low and mid end machines, as long as you're not going anything like wild, right? Godot can handle like a clicker game, not too bad at all. I would also like to point out, in the interest of making sure that like I am here to support the youth, because this is what this sounds like. I feel that it's important to point out that if you made the game and it works, even if it's a little bit jank in some spots, you made a video game, and that's the important part. It's like it's just the clicker game. It's like yeah, but you made it and it works, and that's the important part. That is a step that stops a lot of people. So own that shit is what I'm saying. Else, if this timer, the cooldown timer, is currently running, going into 9 gates, I'm definitely the youth. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah. So then yes, as you got this, thank you. Yeah, my general thing is very definitely a yeah. Godot is what you want for sure, and Godot in and of itself will also the documentation is a little spotty in some spots, but you will probably have an easier time. Um, you will have an easier time figuring out a couple of things with it, especially because I think Godot should have C++ support, if I remember correctly. I don't use it because I use C Sharp because I'm a Unity refugee, but that's not the right word. Sorry. Pardon me. Slip of the tongue. I migrated over from Unity. Pardon me about that. Sorry. Reflex. I migrated over from Unity by necessity, and so I chose to stick with C Sharp because that's easier. Godot script will give you, or rather GD script, sorry. GD script will give you more direct interplay with the with the engine. Yeah, Unity Exile also works. It's true. Yeah, my bad about that. I had to catch myself on that for a second. It kind of slipped out before I was thinking about it. I'm like, no, let's not do that one. Yes, Godot is free. You also get access to the source code without having to pay for it. So if at some point you decide you want to write some extensionality into the engine, um, without like having to like, and you're like, I don't want to have to pay for the source code. You don't have to. It is open source. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, happy to give it. So now we can get rid of that one. That's fine. Yes, open source, very good. Um, I guess technically I don't need this one, but I'll keep it. Um, else if can Spanish true. Um, other if neither of the previous cases are true, just put the result in. Just set the result 1 because it means we're already off cooldown and are no longer spinning. Then return whatever we set result to. Okay, cool. Nice and easy. The current value that the HUD's cooldown meter should have. Right? Nice and simple. So now, if we look at this and we come back over to stage 1, right? Spin, it'll go down, come back up. It'll go down, come back up. Somebody did, if open source console that right line, yippee, else console right line sticky. Yeah. I hope that looks so bad. Yeah, that's Twitch's fault. Twitch probably just screwed up the formatting. No, no, I know you meant the code. You're good. I know you meant the code. You're alright. It's okay. I got you. I figured out what you meant. You're like, oh no, God, that came out terrible. It's like, no, I know what you mean. Right back up. Yeah, that already looks so much nicer. I just need to test it. Yeah, that's already better. All right, conveyance is fixed on that front. I'm immediately happy about that. That's good. Okay. The only other thing I wanted to work on tonight is high score table stuff. Okay. So, here's where that's going to get tricky. So, I have to figure out, do I have a singleton that is going to be hanging around in order to keep track of that? I got to figure that out. Hey, no, it's still a win. I still have to figure out the other thing, but that's still a win. We'll take that. So, globals, prompt manager, input helper, shaker, camera, dip switch manager. Okay, cool. The thing that manages the dip switch, no, I shouldn't do that. I should have it be its own thing. Okay. So, let's think about this for a second. All right, I'm gonna just go open up my handy dandy collection of things that I search up specifically for Godot so that it doesn't break containment, because I got a couple things to think about here. Just an idea. The warning thing under the score and have it flash to grab player's attention while not covering the character. That graphic is also still temporary, probably. What's the word I'm looking for? A lot of a traditional thing in the shmup. It's okay. A traditional thing with shmups, especially if you go look up other ones, is that they usually have the big warning there. Usually it is more transparent, and because usually, depending on the shmup, most players are not able to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Most of the time the warning is transparent in some ways so people can go under it. So it's not a bad thing that you pointed it out. It's more that it's like, right, at some point we should like recheck what other shmups do for their warnings and consider how to format it. Yeah. There's no C. That's the only thing that's the only thing. Because it's an abbreviation of shoot 'em up. But there's no C. That's the only thing. But no, you're fine. No stressy. Let's see. Yeah, because it's an abbreviation of shoot 'em up. So shmup is where that terminology came from. At least in the United States, I think. They may say something different they may say something different in Japanese, but I forget. Okay, so Godot high score tables. Let's see here. Because I could just do a data thing. Yeah, okay. So I guess I could do that. Persistent leaderboard. I could probably figure out how to do it myself, but it's like, yeah, Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that one makes sense. I don't mind that one. I just need to mostly figure out that. Okay. Yeah. Score. Okay. Game trivia. Let me see here. Did you know that Yoko Shimomura, who does nowadays is probably most famous for composing for Kingdom Hearts, is probably like the most quote unquote normie game that most people would know her work from. Did you know that she also was one of the, if not the primary music maker for the original release of Street Fighter 2? Um, she was not the only composer working on that game by far, but a lot of the work and a lot of the track composition that um, would be later remixed in many other versions of Street Fighter 2 started with her. She was on the team that put that together, and as I recall it correctly, she's the original composer of all of Street Fighter 2's music. Um, it's her. It's her. Um, Other games that Yoko Shimomura has gone on to do since then include Live Live, Kingdom Hearts, as I've said, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. She is incredibly prolific. Um, she's incredibly prolific in that. But yeah, like it's because of Yoko Shimomura that we have um, welcome on in Sub Zero to 100. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's thanks to her that we even have like those iconic Street Fighter 2 themes. Um, that's all because of her. Um, in the later versions of Street Fighter 2, um, they usually give credit to the people who like remixed it or ported it over to that particular version of the game. But it's her. It's her. She's the reason why we have like Guile's theme and Ryu's theme and Ken's theme and things like that. That's her. It's her. Okay, so let's see here. Most of these are in GD script. Yeah, no, we're not. Why go to Silent Wolf? Don't need that. That's annoying. Okay, let's see here. So, right. Okay. GD script is yeah, that's that is Godot's native language. GD script is very similar to Python in terms of how it's formatted and functions, but because it is the native programming language for Godot, you get a lot more immediate extensibility out of it. Like there are things that you can do in GD script that include like dragging and dropping references from the editor into GD script and then being able to get links to whatever thing you dropped in and a whole bunch of other stuff that's very useful that is limited specifically to GD script. The reason why I chose to use C Sharp is because, like I was saying earlier, I was initially a Unity user and I am coming up on your boy is coming up on 34 years old and was just like, I do not have the energy to learn another programming language. So I was like, nope. Especially because like shootlanzer was a thing where it's like I need to know, I need to not be learning both a new language and figuring out the new foibles of an engine at the same time. I'm like, I cannot do that right now. So C sharp support being in has been very helpful. But GD script has a lot of direct and very so yeah, it's true. I like to play up the Osan thing just for jokes. But yeah, like I was like, I don't. Oh wait, we have an ad. Shoot. Um, okay, maybe it's time for another MS Paint thing because I know that we have an ad going. And I may want to just like MS Paint out the thing that I'm doing. Um, wow, I have so many of these sketches just kind of chilling out on my desktop, and I can kind of go back and look through them. For people that are watching this on YouTube, um, yeah, for people that are watching this on YouTube right now, as you saw Sari Bot say in the chat, like we've got a we've got an ad running right now, so I'm waiting for the ads to finish before I go back into things. Um, okay, cool. So once the ads are finished, it's like 3 minutes every hour. So once the ads are finished, I will jump back up into that with everybody. I just need to think very carefully about how it is that I want to. When I climb, when I climb, when I climb. Sorry, I got the song stuck in my head from other content from Final Fantasy 14 on replay. So I'm like, wait, I shouldn't sing that if people haven't gotten to that yet. My bad. Sorry. Just damn song, catchy. It's too good. Yeah, instant copy strike. Yeah. Okay, and the ad break is finishing. Um, what's your favorite Pokemon game? I'm playing White right now on my DS. That's a tough one. Um, I think the answer that I'm going to give today is probably Fire Red and Leaf Green. Um, and if not, and that is very, very close to Emerald. Um, yeah, because like the thing, like with Emerald in particular, you got the Hoenn horns. I I can only say that like the main thing that they really pushed on with Generation 3 of Pokemon that I respect, especially in Uh, Especially in the respect of like, yeah, Hohenhorns. Like they cooked really, really, really hard. And it's just like, ooh boy. Dang it. There was something that I was trying to make sure that I didn't lose track of. Gotta go. Have a nice night, man. Good looking. Thank you. Appreciate it. Deeply appreciate it. You as well. I ruined shiny hunting for myself in Pokemon Ruby when I realized you could abuse the RNG and get it every time. Yep, happens every time. You dip too deep into the sauce, and it's like, oof. Okay, so let's see. Night Stubby. Yeah, I am going a little bit. I am going a little bit later than I normally do, mostly by virtue of the fact that I should probably not actually speak on that other thing. Come to think of it, I lost the thing I was going to speak on later on Blue Sky, but it's maybe for the best because thinking about it now, I'm like, right, this is technically not like a field of expertise that I have. So let's not. Sometimes the best thing that you can know how to do is to tell yourself, you know what, I should probably not say anything about this particular thing. It is okay to like just like shut up sometimes when you're like, I actually don't um, I actually don't know enough about this thing, right? Like, okay, yeah, I don't. All right, then I'm not going to say anything about it because I shouldn't, because I don't know enough about it. That's very important. It's a skill that a lot of people don't have these days. Um, right, high score tables. That's the thing we were actually talking about. Let me unsidetrack myself here. So, high score tables. Godot does have a mechanism for saving Godot does have a mechanism for saving these things, um, which is helpful. I could do it as a save game, but it also looks like the guide that I'm looking at, even though it's using GD script, is basically recommending that I save a specific, like I save it as what looks like some form of, yeah, save it as a resource. And I think that that might be the play that I want to take. I just have to translate this from Godot script into C sharp. So that said, though, I am going to need. You know what? Let's just make it a singleton. I think because we're gonna make it an auto. We're gonna make it into an auto load thing. So let's see. Scripts window effects enemies HUD system. Okay, and we're gonna create a new script. We're gonna call this one score manager because it just cool does that. And now we're just gonna do dictionary. Um, I'm wondering now. Right. Okay. Player's name is the key and their score is the value. Okay. So we want string int. the dictionary string int score table. Okay, so we have that. And then, well, in this case, I really want it to be public static dictionary. Or we can just do like static. Either way, we need to be able to just make sure that we can like get a hold of it. Get. That's gonna get upsetting because I messed up that part. No, just hush. I messed up something. So, this is hang on a second. Is there a way to do a dictionary that's like a Godot one? Because that's the dictionary. Yeah, there we go. It's Godot.collections. Because I'm using C sharp, the thing that I have to be careful about is Godot.collections. I have to be careful when I do this because while they set up the code base very carefully, obviously, C sharp also has a dictionary thing. I want Godot's in this case Godot's dictionary has very specific things for like sorting that the regular C sharp dictionary may not have. More important to have this one. Okay, so let's see here. So let's see. Public static void update score. We'll do string new player name string new score. And then we can just say, let me think here for a second. Right, we can do score table new player name equals new score. Cannot implicitly convert score table. Oh, it's one of these. Hold on a second. I have forgotten how to access the key for this thing. So, okay. So the key is that, and then that is that. Okay, let me think about this very carefully and make sure that I don't have this fucking backwards. So score table. Okay, the key is string and the value is that. Okay, that's what I thought. So score table dot add. Here we go. Player name, new score. Argument 2 cannot convert from string to int. Oh, I wasn't paying attention and it came out as that. That's why I wasn't paying attention when I put in that. Okay, cool. That said, though, we need to. Okay, cool. So it looks like, basically speaking, the way that this code that I'm looking at wants to do it. Let me put in this over here so I can make sure that this is used to manage, save, and load high score tables based on code from here. Okay, so we're going to do const int max score count, and that's going to be 10. The maximum number of scores that are stored in the score dictionary, the score table. In-game score table that we are going to use for reference. So I'm just gonna grab this code, copy it, and then we're just going to comment it out real quick, and then I can use this as a reference. So so we're gonna do int min value is 50 because that's the lowest. That's the lowest possible, like next to 0, the lowest possible score you can have after that is 50. So for each var entry in for table, if var if entry dot value here we go. So if score table entry dot value score that is less than min value, so I'm going to explain this here. The lowest possible value that you can get in the game is 50. Destroying one scout. Go through the score table. If our score currently exceeds, I'm going to do update score table rather. So if our score table currently exceeds the max number of scores we are allowed to keep, or rather, while our score table, go through the score table, if the entry we have just checked has a lower value than the minimum, or right, it would be something like whatever the lowest value is that we have. Yeah, we'll do this one, right? Even we could just put 0. So int min value is like 0, right? So if the entry you've just checked has a lower value than the minimum score, then the minimum value, we replace minimum with that entry's value. So we do this for each table to go through each entry in the score table, and then we make sure that if that entry happens to have a lower one, then we do that. What the heck is logged? Did this? We'll do it again. And then do if. Okay, because it feels like this person is leaving something out a little bit now. Okay, cool. So that's set. Score manager. Why are you upset? Oh, I could probably put in an extra one here somewhere. Oh, hold on. You're upset. Here? Okay, cool. And you're here. Okay, what did I forget? There is an extra thing that I have somewhere that is not happy about. There's an extra where? Okay, that's there. Oh. That's why. Okay. Okay, so da-da-da-da. So this while loop will keep running until we're only down to 10 scores, and then we're just going to do sort score table thing, right? Let me take a look and see at the next thing that they would like to do. Yeah. Just do void sort. No, it should be dictionary string int sort for table. I could do it. Okay, and then this is going to be I should do. Okay, cool. So that one is set. All right. Okay. Now we're just going to do this. We're going to comment it out again. And here's what we're going to do. Okay, cool. So we have the original table and the sorted table here. Okay. So we'll do this now. For int I equals 0, I less new score table dot count I plus plus. Okay. Int highest score equals 0. Each entry in the original score table if original score table entry dot p greater than highest score. Highest score is equal to original score table entry dot and so that's in the for loop. That's in the for loop, right? Oh, hold on. I have to be careful about this now. Okay, so one level up from the if statement. One level up from the if statement. One. So sorted score table is what I should call this. So sorted score table. Okay, this might be tricky. Ah, I see. I see what it's asking to do there. I'm gonna see something real quick. Um, okay, so go find these sharp. Terms the list of keys. That's annoying. Hmm. Okay, what they want is yeah, this is one of the roadblocks I just hit. Because it looks like C sharp get. I'm gonna have to work around it a little bit. Ah, dang it. I could also just use, so apparently I can also just use link to sort it. C sharp use link to sort sort sort. There we go. Okay, or plan B. Let's see here. No, I don't want it to be sorted on the key. I need to be sorted on the... Alright. Let's just do this real quick. Let's do just a regular ass dictionary. You know, nope, never mind. Put that back, put it 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 back. Let's just... Okay. Okay, plan B. I'm just gonna do a thing. So, there is potentially a way to do this, but also the least painful way is just using system. What's the link one? Hopefully this works. Link dot. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can figure this out. Okay, so there's that. Okay, that should do it. I think anyway. Okay. Okay, and I don't think I want to push too much further than that, um, because the rest of the high score code is going to require a lot more dig. Like I got to dig deeper for the rest of it. So let's see. We're gonna just do public static void save for table. Okay. Constant. Hang on a second. I need to check one last thing real quick before we get up out of here. Need dip switch manager. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so we just want to do. But at least for right now. Not on me. Or table that. We're gonna do it as that. I see. I see. I'll think it out a little bit later. I'm starting to like bolt things together in ways that I probably shouldn't, which means that is a good sign that it's time for me to stop. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm going to be dipping out. I have mac and cheese to go make and then a couple other things to do. Thank y'all for hanging out. Deeply appreciate it. Time to do these things. So, links. Sometimes I write game analysis design articles over on my NeoCities blog. I gotta figure out a better way to like format and put up the blog post because like actually maintaining it myself is a pain in the neck. But I do that sometimes. Game bots with my YouTube. Ko-Fi if you want to support me in the stream but don't want to give money to Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Ko-Fi. Throne is for gifting gifts anonymously to me, the streamer. I would ask that you don't do any Ko-Fi or Throne stuff this month because we're still doing the charity fundraising for Right Love on Farms. So if you have any money and you want to like throw that over there. You know? The card has all my social media links, but really Blue Sky is it. Munity is the studio that I'm making this game with. If you would like to know more about us and what we do, you can head over to our website. You can join our Patreon for free or paid and get access to our Discord with even at the free tier. So you can sort of like get heads ups on things that we're doing and what other news we have if you don't hear from me. And then if you want to play a prototype, a demo of Shootlanzer, we have a slightly older one up on our itch page. Last but not least, if you don't mind making a Roblox account that you have to use for nothing else, you can join us over on Gilded. post my MS Paint notes over there from time to time, as well as we just talk about other stuff. At the application link that's listed there, you do have to have a Roblox account, like I said. Unfortunate, it's kind of the result of a buyout. Can't really control that. If you're like, I don't want to do that because of that, that's fine. I understand. Oh, that's nice. A national injunction on the tariffs have effectively made sure that they don't exist anymore. So, we take those. All right, let me figure out who we're gonna go hang out with, because that has put a smile on my face. Right. Let me go to Twitch, and I should see. I immediately got sidetracked, going like, "Who are we gonna go hang out with? I can't think of anybody. I can't think of anybody. I can't think of anybody." Because my black ass immediately didn't stop and go like, look at my recent. Okay, so Twitch is not on tonight. You can't go see Adrian. Because we've already been to see Adrian recently. Twist is not on tonight. Azure Level 7 we went to go see the other day. And G might be on, but G is still on cooldown, so that means that we gotta... You know what? I feel as if we are obligated, not in like a sigh kind of way, but in a because he did, I want to do sort of way. If Dead by Daylight is not your thing, I completely understand. I'm letting you know this now so that if you want to move, you can. We're going to go raid J-Rock the God, because he raided us the other day, and so, you know, we got to get that like back, metaphorically. Not in like a bad way, in a he raided us, so let's raid him sort of way. He is playing Dead by Daylight. He is also doing so with his feet. He does that from time to time. If you are discomfited by feet, you may want to kind of like chill out, but he is actually literally playing Dead by Daylight on an arcade stick with his feet, and it's actually pretty cool. Fastest feet on Twitch, as he likes to say from time to time. So we're gonna hang out with J-Rock. He's playing Dead by Daylight. If it's not your thing, I understand, but this is our raid message. Throw in whatever emotes you want. They don't have to be my emotes. Whatever emotes you feel like using. Just keep them appropriate. Don't be weird. Stream schedule: Friday 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Fighting Friday. Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Hills of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Next week Wednesday is another Shootlanzer stream. I'll probably have the score table and stuff sorted out by then, because I have a deadline that I have to meet for June 1st. So you'll get to see it in action, ideally, by the next time Wednesday comes around. So stay safe, wash your hands, go outside, wear masks, be excellent to each other. But not the bigots, racist, turfs, sexist, anti-queer folks, or fascists. Black Lives Matter. Trans rights are human rights. Reproductive rights are human rights. Palestine is sit on the Congo, New Caledonia. Must all be free. None of us are free until we're all free. Look out for each other. Look out for your communities. You don't have to do a lot to do a lot of looking out. Pretty much all I have to say. Let's get out of here before the ads come and hit again. Deeply appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all. Deuces.